that didn't take long at all. You are looking at Louisiana already with 6 different tornado warnings. Over the next 2 days, 50 million Americans are within a severe weather watch, coming just 1 week off of a record-breaking tornado swarm that spanned from Texas all the way up into the Ohio River Valley. Already with multiple states in the thick of it as we speak. Texas, Florida, and almost to the northeast, all surrounded by red flag warnings. We are going to take a look at the latest information on what to expect in the coming hours. And what is going on with our sun? Another group of sunspots on its way to becoming Earth-facing. We have scientists and all sorts of amateur astronomers and space weather analysts warning of the ongoing sun flare threat. In fact, one of them scheduled to hit Earth today. And talk about bizarre. You are looking at a snapshot taken from one of our sun cams within the Solar Dynamic Observatory, showing what seems like a craft flying by the sun, and it almost looks as if you can see the shape of this thing. I'm gonna let all of you decide what this might be, because I gotta say, I'm pretty stumped on this one. My friends, it is good to see you all. We're gonna break down all this information right here, right now. Let's go. Alright everybody, welcome back. It is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022, and don't worry, we'll get into that sun anomaly in just a second. First, I want to take a look at what's going on with this severe weather threat. You're looking at a graphic from Radar Scope right now, and as you can see, the tornado threat is very real. We are now up to 7 different tornado warnings stretching all the way from central Louisiana all the way up through Monroe. Some of these have already formed into tornadoes themselves, and the yellow boxes you see here are the potential threat for severe weather and other tornadoes. We spoke about this yesterday, talking about the threat of this weather just like last week with that tornado outbreak in Texas, Mississippi, that strong 160-mile-an-hour windstorm in Louisiana, and then we had portions of the Northeast getting caught up in it all the way up towards Ohio. Now take a look at this. Nearly 50 million people are within this severe weather threat. You can see the population density down here on this chart, but obviously the most severe area we could see is already starting in Louisiana, expected to move through Mississippi, Alabama, Western Tennessee, and Kentucky, and that's just in the next few hours. You can see here in our county by county chart, not only Louisiana and eastern Texas, but this is shooting up through Arkansas and into Missouri as well. We could see that the first 6 hours of March 30th began basically with the severe weather in eastern Texas. Now, if we go one click, which is another 6-hour period, we're basically moving into where we are right now with the thick of this severe weather stringing right over Louisiana in the Gulf, straight up through Louisiana into Arkansas. And then if we move another 6 hours, we could see how severe this gets in a very short period of time. It's a little difficult to see on this chart, but imagine the jet stream dipping way down into the Gulf right now and that front edge coming up right about here. So that meeting of the cold and warm air right along this line here being pulled up from the Gulf mixed with the very energetic atmosphere we have going on right now are the exact ingredients we need for these severe storms. If we go ahead and click one more frame here on Tropical Tidbits, we could see that stretch all the way up through Tennessee and Kentucky, and in no way can we rule out Ohio, Indiana, Illinois is up in this mess, and that's just the broad idea of this thing. There are plenty of websites and news outlets going over the detailed weather within each of these states, but I just want you guys to see how spread out this storm is going to be through tomorrow. You can see right here as we get into the first part of Thursday, the low dip of the jet stream begins to pull up through the northeast of the United States, which is then going to be an entire different story. Take a quick look at the 2-day outlook, and you can see this area right here is prone to severe weather tomorrow, and then on the tail end of this thing, the panhandle of Florida, almost northern Florida as well, Georgia, South Carolina, almost the entire eastern seaboard is going to be involved in this. Feel free to pause this video and take a look at some of these detailed charts as we move from the 31st into April Fool's Day. That's basically when this thing is going to lift off the eastern coast and for the most part be out of our way. But there is no denying the fact that this is a very severe weather situation, putting a lot of people at risk, power outages, straight line winds aside from the tornadoes. And then another look at Louisiana, you could see these tornadoes are already popping off right on that front edge of the storm here. As the day goes on, I'll be posting small updates in the community section of the YouTube channel. And for any of you that live in this area, if you get any good storm pictures or anything like that, feel free to send them to In2thinairNEWS@gmail.com. I have no problem featuring those pictures in a video so we can see what's going on where you live. But please do that without putting yourself at risk. If you are in one of these severe areas, please keep an eye on your local weather and listen to whatever they have to say. Switching gears here, my friends, I want you to take a look at this chart. You are looking at what we call the Solar Dynamic Observatory. What this is in a nutshell is a satellite camera camera out between the sun and the earth, which measures the sun at different frequencies. Basically, each one of these pictures here is a different setting within that camera where we could see different anomalies and things coming off the sun, like sunspots, solar flares, sun filaments, you name it. Coronal holes, basically a way that we can measure different types of energy coming off the sun. For those of you that watched the video yesterday, you know that we've had solar flares popping off the sun almost non-stop. We are entering into what they call a solar maximum phase, where the sun does exactly that. It's at its maximum strength, which comes in cycles. And within this cycle alone, you can see on this chart here, between the 28th and today, we've had close to 8 different solar flares. 3 of them, almost 4, touching into the M class, which is very strong. We spoke briefly yesterday on 2 of those that are expected to hit Earth today into tonight. Once again, in a nutshell, what that means is that the solar wind coming off the sun from these sunspots, once they have explosions, produce solar wind. And that solar wind moving at hundreds of thousands of kilometers a second, hitting the Earth's atmosphere, has direct effects on things like cell phones, our power grid, basically anything that's electronic on Earth, and in some cases can trigger earthquakes. Now, more times than not, this goes unnoticed because it doesn't happen too often when we have those interferences, but taking a look at today's news, there are multiple articles talking about these sun flares that have already left the sun, with more to come. In fact, if you look right here, you can see a new set of sunspots right here making its way from the chart in a west to east movement. So the sun is turning in this direction, which is going to put these at what we call Earth facing. Now, when this sunspot gets to about here, if it were to explode, that means all that energy is shooting directly at your eyesight, which is where Earth is. This is here just for an Earth scale. This is not where Earth is. If we were going to put it somewhere, it would be about here, or basically level with the equator of the sun. So you can see that this sunspot, once it makes its way a little bit further this way, would be in direct line with the Earth. Here is another article put out today at 9:43 a.m. saying the northern U.S. could see dazzling aurora on Wednesday night. When this energy hits our atmosphere, that's where those green auroras come from, usually on either pole of the Earth. And if we take a quick look here, they actually name these sunspots as they make their way into view, because they are what produce the energy and the explosions that come off the sun. All right, and I want you to focus your attention on this particular sun observatory setting. Each of these gives you a different type of view, and you can see different light on the sun, and with it, you can also see different types of anomalies. And sometimes you see some weird things, and I'm going to show you that right now. I happened to find this today while looking at these sunspots. I noticed an anomaly in the upper left portion of the screen. And as we zoom in, I took a screenshot of this, and you can see this anomaly right here. I have a very close-up version of it. I'm going to show you right now. And this is definitely something I have not seen in a long time, if ever, with this type of detail. All I did here was enhance the picture to bring out what's already there. Nothing was added or subtracted from the image, but clearly you could see something shooting up past the sun, as you saw in the picture before. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this as close as we can get. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I am starting to see structure to this thing. Dare I say those look like lights around the edge of a disc-looking shape with a round center to it. Now again, sometimes these pictures can be distorted. We are looking way out into space with this specific setting on this camera, the SDO, but I gotta say, something like this is not seen all the time. This was taken in one frame of the video, which is all I could capture from it, and you can actually see different colors. It's a white, an orange, a yellow, a type of blue, and then a mix of yellow and white. And once I saw this, I knew I had to show you guys. If you search YouTube, there are a bunch of videos and people out there that specialize in this stuff. And I gotta say, this is right up there with some of the best images captured. And in my opinion, the more you look at this thing, the more it looks like some sort of solid object with what seems like lights around the rim. I'm very aware that sometimes you can trick yourself into seeing what you want to see, but I try to play devil's advocate with this stuff because a lot of people out there faking what we like to call UFO videos and things of that nature, but this stood out to me. I am also going to post that picture in the community section of the YouTube channel so you can analyze it yourself and tell me what you think. Once again, if you want to access these cameras, there's 2 ways of doing it. I mentioned yesterday that SuspiciousObservers is a very good resource to this type of stuff. I'll leave the website in the description box, and also this website right here called helioviewer.org. This is a very detailed website where you can pick and choose all the different cameras that I guess you can say NASA has to offer. I know what many of you think about that, but nonetheless, here it is, and I hope you guys check it out. Also, for those of you interested, I'm going to link these 2 articles talking about the sun flares that have seemingly taken over a big chunk of the news since we've had that rapid fire coming off the sun. I don't know about you guys, but this stuff is super interesting to me. I plan on showing you more of it in upcoming videos. And with that said, I want to thank you all for watching this video. Again, I will keep you updated on the severe weather threat going on in the United States through tomorrow. We'll have another updated video tomorrow, if not later on tonight as well. possibly even later on tonight. Any questions or concerns, please leave down below. Shout out to Canada. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all, and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.